Good noon, everyone. Welcome to Nifty Bank Nifty live analysis. Now, as we see on the hourly chart, it was very clear Nifty entering into the resistance zone, and it was a sharp selling coming through right in the morning, kind of profit booking. And if you actually see from the option data point of view, the max call are way above 600 and 700, but still there was selling exactly around the 17,500 zone. More importantly, if you actually see after the selling has come by, it's now trying to come back up. Now it will be very difficult to sustain on the upside, and again, selling will come by because of the huge selling pressure which was seen in the morning. So we need to start looking if there is some option data interpretations where we can look for selling opportunity in Nifty. So let's try to see on the smaller time frame when we check on 15-minute chart. Now there is red dotted lines which clearly showed right in the morning there was a lot of selling pressure. Price came down all the way, showed the engulfing structure right over here, making the base, trying to go back up. But now as it goes higher on the higher zone, we should start looking for a reversal bet on the downside. Now in order to look for a reversal bet on the downside, obviously we'll try to catch right from the base, trying to connect the trend line on the upside and trying to see if the higher side we can get some selling structure. So here we can see upside coming down, again he's trying to go up, again he's coming down. So a lot of good supports have been built along the way as the Nifty is trying to go higher. But as I said, on the higher scale, on the higher zone, we should look for selling opportunity in Nifty. So let's also see the option data. What does the option data suggest? And based on the option data, we can have some clue that, okay, fine, on the higher side, will we get some option data clarity of a lot of resistance on the higher side? So right now, Nifty is around 17,450 kind of zone. We need to understand around this 500, 550 zone. What is the OI data interpretation? So as we see on the 9th of December, this is the expiry day today of the weekly expiry. We can see 500 huge OI built up is there, 450 also built up is there. So one thing is very clear that a lot of resistance is there at the top. But if I see in the last 2 hours, yes, it shows 68,000, which is very good number of contracts, 60,000, 68,000, around this 450 to 500 zone. And that's why I was trying to say that this zone will act like a very strong resistance over here, which is very, very important. 400 zone is now clearly having a lot of OI. So one thing is very clear. If I put in the 400 zone, which is right over here, so this zone where a lot of support has taken through, okay, so this zone where the lot of support has taken through is around the 17,400 zone. Now downside will get limited to 17,400, and if it crosses below this, then you will have further downside to carry on. But the idea over here is 17,500 also has some bit of resistance at the top, so we can say, okay, fine, this zone roughly around 17,510, 520, from where we can see the morning zone where the selling had come right around this zone with the red dotted lines clearly been seen around that 17,500 zone will act like strong resistance zone once again. So as it goes higher, higher and higher into this zone, we need to start looking for selling opportunity, provided that our trend line structure also gets formed. So here we basically have the upside coming through, and then if it breaks on the downside, then you can take the expiry trade, sharply moving on the downward flow all the way towards these zones back again to 17,400. So that will be the trade structure for Nifty, and obviously it will remain range bound after a big move, which we have already seen all the way. It was falling and then it has come back up, and that's why the big expiry move is not expected today. But yes, a good trade on the upside, looking for a sell trade into the morning selling zone, plus the OI built up seems to be there, can be a good structure to focus on. Let's also check if BankNifty is also weak along with this or not. And if BankNifty is also weak, then obviously we'll have more edge for Nifty on the downside. So if I see on the hourly chart, there was the gap zone which was already there over here. He had crossed this yesterday, but here we can clearly see there was a good amount of resistance over here at 37,400, 500 zone. Let's see the OI data also suggesting that max call OI was also at 37,500 zone. So this zone was acting like good resistance, no doubt. The prior resistance zone plus the max call OI, that both the things were very much clear to show a lot of resistance. Now, if you see, BankNifty has gone down all the way till yesterday's low. So that means a lot of selling pressure is there on Bank Nifty right in the morning, first 1 hour. Now, this is where you will get a very nice trade in Bank Nifty. Now, after seeing Nifty, I can clearly say I would like to go for a sell on Bank Nifty rather than Nifty, because after a big sharp downfall, the prices will tend to move up. And if they tend to move up, you can take a small buy trade if you want, but then sharp downside can again come by. So let's see on a smaller time frame how things are progressing. We can see clearly over here dropping down onto 1, 2, 3 red candles, taking the support into this zone, and he's trying to come back up, could not, and again he's coming back down. Now, I would not like to go for a buy trade. No doubt that it can give you an upside of around 100 points over here, but it is very risky because the kind of selling which has come in the morning, always try to understand when it enters into this entire zone, this zone will act like a strong resistance zone. And that's why I do not want to take a buy trade and get stuck over here where the sharp fall can come at any point in time. So rather than that, I would like to basically wait for prices to get into this zone, the higher zones, and then we can start looking for selling opportunity. So right from base, we are seeing that the buying is coming through. Again, the same structure, what we saw for Nifty, we will try start making our trend line, and we will try to say, okay, fine, you can move up, but we are not interested for a buy trade. But our agenda over here is very clear. As the prices starts moving higher into the zone, we start looking for our selling opportunity on the downside. Okay, so that's very, very clear even on Nifty and Bank Nifty. And here we can see if the prices starts going higher faster, you can get a very good sell trade for the expiry. So we want into this red zones, the red dotted lines, and we can see around 37,300 zone is very, very important for us. This is where we need the prices to come on the higher side if the Bank Nifty rises in the zones, because if it rises, then only we can get a good fall. Okay, so let him rise, like let's say 100, 150 points into this red zone, which is like 37,200 to 300 zone. Morning selling pressure, yesterday close, gap up bearish, dotted lines are clearly visible. Option data is suggesting a lot of selling pressure is there in this area, and then you can have a sharp fallout on the downside. So not going for buy trade, no doubt that you can take a small buy trade as well. If you actually see from here, it is forming a good buy structure as well. If you need to look for the buy trade, but as of now, I'm not interested for buy trade. As I said, that the upside might get capped everywhere. Okay, there can be selling pressure which will come any point in time, and we can get stuck with our wrong trade. So it is always better that let him zoom up. It's okay if you miss that buy trade, and then if you look for selling opportunity, and if it does not go much up, goes sideways again, and you can get a selling opportunity for the closing point, can give you a very good downside once again towards the end of the day. So that way expiry can be very, very good on the downside. Hero to zero kind of put option can be taken. Let's say the price comes around the 37,200 zone, we can take a put option of 37,000, or you can take even 37,100, little OTM, 2 hours left, and then premium will be very, very low. And if the sharp fall comes in 200 points, you can get 1:3, 1:5 kind of risk reward even on Bank Nifty. Let's also quickly check the option data. What does that suggest? Where Nifty did give us some kind of insights. Right now, it is around, Bank Nifty is around 37,000 zone. This is where it is. We can see a lot of OI built up is there at the higher end. As I said, 200, 300 is a very strong resistance zone. If I see in the last 2 hours, apart from 37,000, we do have a little bit of OI at 25, 23,000 contracts at 200, 300. So 200, 300 is kind of acting a safe resistance zone. But more importantly, we can also see 37,000 is also acting. If you actually see over here, this 37,000 zone is also very, very important. So on the contrary, if you actually see, if it makes a new low over here, okay, and then you want to catch the trade on the upside, you can. So another way of trade can be, because of the 37,000 huge OI data is being seen over here. So what trade I can look for even for buy is something like this. So I'll wait for a sharp fall in Bank Nifty because it is expiry day. So what can happen over here is it can go down now, okay, into somewhere nearby 37,000 zone towards the lower zone, the lows of the morning, and then you can have a sharp reversal, but only buy above 37,000 zone. Do not be in hurry to buy. If you want to go for, let him crash down, sharp selling can come, and then let a W formation take place above 37 zone. You can have a good slide on the upside as well. So we'll wait and watch if the fall is there. But as the structure seems, it seems that it can hit on the higher side, because even on Nifty, it's trying to do the same. It's trying to push the Nifty on the higher side, and you can see the gain loss of Nifty is now almost flat. So that clearly shows that a lot of good point is there over here, which is almost flat. So let's wait and watch for the expiry, and we connect again tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching.